Hello everyone, Alistair Gold here. Happy New Year to you all, and it is a happy new year. Spurs have entered 2024 just 3 points off the top of the Premier League table. What is that all about? How did that happen? How did this severely weakened Tottenham Hotspur team somehow find themselves sitting, in 5th place, but let's be honest, with double figures of unavailable players, which has been maintained by another 2 players getting injured in the match yesterday. Somehow they are, a point off Arsenal and Man City, who, title challengers, and 3 points off of Villa and, of course, leaders Liverpool, who are about to play just after I'm recording this video. So it's a ridiculously good achievement. Let's be honest. Postecoglou has worked wonders with this team. And the other moment we had, which we have not seen before, was angry Ange Postecoglou. And I don't mean slightly irked. I don't mean a little bit peeved. Honestly, the great view of the dugout from the press box seats at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and this was something akin to the Incredible Hulk kind of suddenly getting angrier and angrier and, turning green, I guess. Or the thing I wrote in my talking points this morning, I compared it to the bear from, if you've seen Cocaine Bear, the film that came out last year, the kind of funny little comedy film, very loosely based on true events, apparently. Yes, I'm saying that Postecoglou was that bear. Not on, illegal substances, of course, but just the way he just went raw. Honestly, I got a real kind of sense of what it must have been like for wingers back in the late 80s or early 90s, playing against South Melbourne and coming up against this left back on the Melbourne side. And honestly, he just went for it. So, a little background to kind of what happened. If you weren't aware, I didn't see the game because I know it wasn't televised, so you might have only seen highlights and bits and pieces. So, Alejo Vilis came on late in the game. Very unfortunately for him, appeared to do something to his knee. I didn't actually see the moment it happened, but suddenly he just could not move. Postecoglou and Giovanni Lo Celso were like screaming at him to just go down and we'll get you off the pitch, because they'd already used all their subs. 5 subs had come on at that point, and honestly he couldn't put any weight on it at all. But what kept happening was that the Spurs players or Bournemouth players were not putting the ball out of play. And I think there was one occasion where it did, and for some unknown reason he got back up and they were like, go down, kind of thing. So he kept kind of getting up. There was one point he came back to try and defend, and it was the most awful, awkward thing because he's in real pain. He's kind of yelping and screaming. He fell to the floor once, but then got back up. And then we had this ridiculous moment where Højbjerg gets the ball in the midfield and plays a through ball for him to run onto at goal. And he actually had another option. I can't remember who it was. And it was just like, why did you play it to the man who can't even put one of his foot on the floor? I didn't really think he was going to hop all the way to goal and then head it in off the ground or something. But Postecoglou turned around just with an absolute, what the world, looked at his bench with his hands up. And then just went back to screaming at him to get down and lay down. Eventually, Vilis did, and he just fell to the floor. It was... Honestly, it's like a sniper had taken him out from the roof of the stadium. It was quite worrying the way he fell. But I think it was more he was just so upset, and he was inconsolable. But what happened was, because they were telling him to get on the floor, the Bournemouth coaches, or a couple of them, were going mad because they felt that Spurs were deliberately telling him to stop and delay the game, so that obviously Bournemouth couldn't have as much time to get back in the game. And this was about 5 minutes to go or so. And then, so Postecoglou must have just heard something that he did not like, because we just looked and suddenly saw him turn around, and honestly, his face went red with rage. He was, like I say, like Cocaine Bear, just absolutely pelting it suddenly towards the Bournemouth kind of scrum of staff. And I just wonder what would have happened had not this weird kind of mishmash of people in the middle suddenly kind of got in the way. You had Chris Davies, the assistant manager, he was in there kind of trying to block him off. There was a Spurs security staff member who I've seen quite a few times. He's on the tours with them as well. Who else was there as well? Oh yeah, Brennan Johnson looking utterly bewildered. He's kind of got this funny smile in his face. He's like, I don't know how I've ended up here. I don't know how I'm trying to stop a mad Australian who is going to snap me in half if he gets anywhere near me. It was very funny. The referee, Simon Hooper, came over, had a chat with the fourth official, Graham Scott, who obviously explained everything that has happened. And yeah, Cooper and Postecoglou both got a yellow card, which actually, Postecoglou's on 2 yellow cards now. And the rules for a manager, and they don't have a cut-off date for it either, halfway through the season. If he gets a 3rd yellow card at any point now in the remaining, 18 games, he will get a 1-game suspension. So he will join the league of suspended Spurs people. Which is not good. It's not a good look, especially for a manager who obviously is normally very naturally calm. And I think that was what's so kind of terrifying about it, is that Postecoglou is normally so rational and calm on the sideline. So to see his switch just flip was like, wow. But yeah, I did ask Ange about it because I just said to him, I don't think we've ever seen you that mad. Kind of, what happened? And he said, I was fine. We were just wishing each other Happy New Year. In classic Ange style. He said, it's all right, it's just a little bit of emotion in the game. I was more concerned with Alejo because we were kind of trying to get him off the field. And apart from my physically going on the pitch and dragging him off, he wasn't really going to go down. So we were just shouting at him. And I think the Bournemouth staff thought, well, I don't know what they thought, but maybe they thought we were trying to make a substitution, but we knew we had none. It was just about getting him off. So yeah, that was a crazy moment. It really was. And then obviously he settled down very quickly. I watched at the final whistle, he was very much conciliatory with all the Bournemouth staff, and I think with Cooper as well. He put his hand on the side of his face and had a proper chat with him, and it was all very much like, yeah, it happened in the game. It's all over now. Proper football way of dealing with it, I guess.